Get rid of my head there. Let's get stuck into it. I'm going to try and make this a quick one. Lots of stuff going on this morning, so sorry I missed the last couple of days, but those in the Origin server, I did post some quick thoughts in there. Okay, today is an interesting day. I'll start with S&P 500. It's obviously made new highs. If we just go back to SPX, so SPX has made new highs. Bit of consolidation here today, which I guess is a little concerning. I mean, we are pretty super extended. Look at the volumes. Volumes are still super low. The Nasdaq, pretty similar. Obviously, this one is going to be heavily influenced by Nvidia, and Nvidia has come back down a little bit. So, but it's an interesting market at the moment. Bit of sell volume coming through there actually, which is particularly interesting. Alright, I just want to have a quick look at the deltas. Okay, so that's the first negative delta we've had for a while. Got to be careful with negative deltas. Like, these don't always mean that there's going to be a pump or a dump or anything like that. It's just handy to know, like, that's a fair bit of sell volume delta. Last time we saw something close to that was around this last drop here, but it only lasted for another day and then we went back up. So yeah, I think it's interesting there was a bit of delta at the highs there, but there is quite a lot of delta at the lows as well. So it's interesting. It looks like it's being just some take profits at the moment. So I'll just get into equal weight. Use that. What the fuck's this done? Just need to get rid of the pi cycle indicator. So equal weight's still struggling, and I guess that's the main indicator that I'm using to suggest if there's breadth in the market at the moment. And at the moment, it seems like it's more towards the top end that is still getting the gains. And if we look at, just let me find it, percentage of stocks above the 50-day moving average, it's still struggling. So it's still kind of in a bit in no man's land, but it's also still towards the higher end. So we still could see a decent correction. This is a really good indicator for figuring out when it's a good time to buy too. Just so you're aware, it's worthwhile putting on your charts. US 2-year, 10-year, no major changes there. Doesn't look like it's making a new high, so that's interesting. But the 2-year is dropping, 10-year will be dropping as well. Not super high levels either. So the Dixie, I noticed, has gone to the downside, and I'll wrap up why all this matters in a second. But the the Dixie looks like it's done a retest of the 200 EMA on the daily, and next target's probably going to be, well, it'll probably pause in here for a little bit. There's plenty of demand in there, but ultimately we could actually be getting back down to that 1018 sort of level pretty soon, I think, over the next month or so. XLY, XLP. So this is another indication that this rally in the S&P 500 and NASDAQ isn't, I guess, real in inverted commas. Just because this is like a strength indicator for the overall economy. And yeah, it's lagging. It's holding up a little bit around this level, but if we break below this level, I would suggest that there's going to be more of a correction on the overall market. I don't think a pump can sustain this level of downward pressure on the overall economy. Could be wrong. Like, at the moment, we seem to be governed by options quite a bit, 0-day expiry options. All right, so we'll get on that basis. We'll go and we'll just have a quick look at the M2 money supply. It's still trending up, actually. Gold has been doing well. Silver has been doing better. I actually sold out of gold up around here and bought silver when it dipped. So bought silver. Yeah. Anyway, they're actually some of my better plays at the moment on my retirement fund account. I only really trade them in that account. It's crypto for everything else. So let's get to Bitcoin and we'll have a quick look at the longs. No real change there. No one's particularly scared at the moment. There was a little bit of closing of positions, a little bit of take profit, but as you can see today, we've started to dump a little bit on Bitcoin, and they've started buying again. So I think looking at this, given that no one's really taking profits, it looks like sell-offs are going to be met by buying demand. So I don't think they're going to be huge sell-offs. So into Bitcoin itself, as I posted in Origin the other day, this is one of my main charts to look at for whether we're going to actually pump or not. Now, obviously we were thinking it was going to come back down into the mid-band of this as a target. And probably won't, looking at this now. I say that not knowing what the hell's going to happen with the overall stock market because it's struggling, but basically if we retest the top of this band and actually start to break out, then that would be a pretty good sign. If we break below this band again, I can't see it bouncing from this short-term EMA again at that level. I think if we break below the top of this Gaussian channel, it will come back down. Whether we go to the middle of the channel or not, maybe on a daily wick, but the lower moving average on the pi cycle indicator will probably act as support as well. So that's just something to be aware of. And that's sitting around the 65k mark at the moment, so almost spot on. So, and it is moving up. So low 65s, I would suggest, are probably going to be a pretty big level if we do even get that far. So bounce off the top of this would be quite bullish. that's when I'd be expecting the 80k mark. But big issue is we've still got volume issues. And one thing I wanted to point out, which I forgot, was even like the volume is dropping off in markets in general. I think even ES had a bit more volume come through, and interestingly, it did bounce off the top of the Gaussian channel. I don't often look at the Gaussian channel on ES, to be honest, but it's probably an interesting one to have on there because it seems to struggle. If it can't break through it, we seem to see corrections. Obviously, moving averages are pretty critical as well. Don't worry about the pi cycle too much on this one, but yeah, it respects it quite often. Anyway, back into Bitcoin. We'll go down into the shorter time frames. That's the 1 minute. I don't really want that one. So just on this one, this is the test panel for the new bot, but which I'm still working on. It looks like we're probably going to bounce off the 200 EMA. So good break through it. If we bounce back down off the 200 EMA, so if we can't clear the 70,800 mark, I am actually expecting it to come back down into the 69,500 mark. At the very least, you'd expect it to come down and clean up this wick here at 70,150. So which aligns with the bottom of this wick as well. It will probably, I don't think it'll necessarily break through there super quickly. I think there will be a bit of demand around that level, but if it does, it'll very quickly get down to this 69,500 mark. And then we've just got to be on the lookout for 68,900 as well. There's sort of two critical levels on the way down at the moment that I can see. There should be a lot more demand around this level, and even more around this level here, obviously. So between 68.5 and 69.5. So I mean that's a fair way away from here, but obviously it is posturing more towards the downside at the moment, and volatility has a bit of expansion it can do. Low volume on the pump back up here, which suggests it is just a retrace. So yeah, looking for the next leg down on the shorter time frames, which I think that, hang on, I'll just do a quick check. 69,500. 69,500 is actually above that top of the Gaussian channel, so it could go another $500-600 lower than that before we get a bounce. So just going back to that. Yeah, somewhere around there would be a reasonable level of confluence, actually. So we've got these vector candles here, which is basically just a lot of volume compared to the previous candles. Typically, price does like to move back into these areas. There will be quite a lot of liquidity in that area as well, just because people have their stop losses and stuff placed in that area for the longs. So yeah, be an interesting one. But it looks like obviously we've swept the lows that people would have had their stop losses at below these candles. It's just a matter of whether we get back down, whether we can continue that push down. Interestingly, we've got a little bit of, let's just refresh this. Interesting. June 6, June 5th. Don't know why there's two candles here. I'll look into that. Anyway, it looks like the miners are still overall trending towards outflows. So they have been selling into that pump over the last couple of days. So yeah, that's potentially what's helping drive this thing down. That's an interesting break there. Not huge volume. Obviously we're still in this candle. It's coming back to the 20 EMA. I wouldn't expect this to go all the way back to the 50. If we go back to the 50, then it's actually suggesting this was a bit of a fake out to the downside. But again, we're starting to go into the low volume kind of time frame now. The US has finished up. It's the lag period in between then and when Asia kicks off. So yeah, that's about it. Potentially more downside. This is going to be fairly critical though. I think we need to see some follow through in the next couple of days if it's going to come back down and retest both the top of the Gaussian channel and these moving averages and stuff. So that was the other thing. So volumes are up a little bit on Bitcoin. A bit hard to see there, but there's still, like, there was more volumes in these pumps and dumps in this sort of area, like way more volume. So yeah, there's not a lot of support behind this particular rally is what I'm alluding to. And as you can see, we're still struggling. I think I got distracted again. Yeah. Not a huge amount of support behind these, I think. But the market can remain irrational longer than we can remain solvent. So just be careful about fading these sort of. It's hard to short a dull market, is the saying, and it's a very real saying. Yeah, just be. If you're going to short anything, don't hold it for too long. Try and get in and out. Yeah, just be careful. It's more, I think at this point you're better off just trying to use it as dollar cost average in. Maybe pick up some shorter term moves. All right, that'll do for today. Catch us next time.